big welcome to all of you that are joining me live this morning for Coffee Chat number 5, which is our May Coffee Chat. I'm coming to you from a beautifully drizzly Brisbane morning. And let's see, we've got quite a number of people that's joined us already. If you guys, somebody can please let me know as usual in the comments box that you can actually see the slides and that you can hear me. That would be awesome. I see we've got Brooklyn, Christine, Daniel, Debbie, Frank, Joan, Rachel, Susan, and Susanna. And as I'm speaking, more and more people are joining. So Brooklyn says, hi, Gerda. Hi, Brooklyn. Susan says, I can see and hear. Brooklyn says, I can see and hear you fine. That is fabulous. So that gives us permission to start going. Excellent. Fabulous. Alrighty, so let's get stuck into it. I know there is quite a lot of new people in our Facebook group community, and therefore I'm just going to take 30 seconds just to officially introduce myself to all those new people that's joined us lately. So who am I? I am Gerda Muller, of course. I am a clinical psychologist and owner of the Psych Professionals. So I've got 2 group private practices, one in Loganholme and one in Kapalaba. Both is on the south side of Brisbane. I'm also the founder of YourPsychOnline.com, which is an online counseling service. And of course, these days I am running around Australia doing workshops and training as part of Private Practice Success Australia, which of course is part of what I'm doing this morning. Then in the middle of the slide, you can see me and my 3 kitties and my husband. We were actually at a farm stay here in the Queensland hinterland, which we love doing, getting back to nature and spending time together. So that is my 30-second introduction around me. I do know for a fact, even just looking at the names that we've got live here with us this morning, that for some of you, this is your very first coffee chat. So welcome. Just to give you a brief overview of how this works, it's very intensive. It's short and sweet. So we do 20 minutes of content, and then we've got 10 minutes of Q&As. So you're more than happy, I'm more than happy for you to keep on putting in questions as I talk, just so that you don't forget. But what I will do, I will only go through the questions once I've actually run through all the content for this morning. So this morning we are going to have very much an educational piece of content. You know, sometimes it's a bit of mindset work. Sometimes it is a bit of operational prep side for running your private practice. But today it is a bit more educational, and it's knowledge that I want you to take away today and then really go and use that to analyze what is happening at your private practice. Alrighty, so what am I talking about? We are going to look at the levels of private practice development. So if you have attended my one-day workshop, you will know that during the workshop, I take you through an overview of what those levels look like. If you've been to my masterclass, you will know that at the masterclass, we actually take a very deep dive into the levels. But today, I want to give you just a brief introduction because it's still going to be valuable for you in the way that you think about your practice. So I'm going to give you an introduction to the levels today. Now, you might not be surprised to know that there is actually no empirical research available on allied health private practice development in terms of the stages of business development. How do I know that? Because I searched you know, high and low, is that the right Aussie saying? High and low to actually find it when I did the literature review, when I started my PhD. I couldn't find anything. So what I did is I looked at my own lived experience over the past, you know, 10 to 12 years of being in private practice, of running 2 successful group private practices, based on discussions I've had with many, many group private practice owners, you know, having attended each and every business related workshop I could go to, reading a lot of business books, and I put together, based on my actual experience, anecdotal experience from other practice owners, and what I know about business, and I came up with the 5 levels of a successful private practice. So these 5 levels are also, of course, in my book, The 7-Figure Practice. I must say that I did once attend, and I always give credit where credit is due. Probably, I don't know what, a couple of years ago, long before I did my private practice success work, I did attend a workshop that was run by Life Resolutions. So some of you will know that company, others won't. So it's basically a psychology franchise business. And at this workshop, they discussed what they called the stages that a private practice would go through. And they had basically 4 stages. And I clearly remember sitting in the room. It was here in Brisbane at the Brisbane Technology Park. And when I, you know, listening to the presentation, something just seemed off for me with the stages that they were presenting. And then it really struck me in that they had no next stage after stage 4. And I thought, you know, that can't be right, because at my practice, the psych professionals, we had already smashed through all the markers that they had for their ultimate, you know, penultimate, or the ideal stage that you are going for, which were their stage 4. Our turnover was much higher, making a lot more money with a lot less rooms. And, you know, that might have been because it is a franchise business and obviously you pay money towards them. I don't know. But it just seemed off. There was a glass ceiling there that according to them, you know, that was the end. So I did look at those stages that they presented, but my levels are completely different to what it is that they had there. So why do you need to look at the levels of private practice development? Let's have a look there. Who knows Jackie Chan? I love his movies. Ain't they just good when you just don't want to think? It's very silly, crazy, and my kids love it, especially the very fake fight scenes that they do there. So Jackie Chan is asking, but why? Why do I need to know about the levels of private practice development? Well, the levels tells you where you are at right now in your private practice compared to other practices. It also shows you the potential of what you can achieve in your private practice. I can't tell you the number of people that come to my workshops, and when I show them level 4 and 5, they're just like quiet, or, you know, their mouths are hanging open, and they go, what? I didn't realize that I can actually achieve that in private practice. And they were thinking, you know, maybe level 3 is the final stage and that's the only size they can grow to. No, it is about knowing what potential you have. And I'm not saying that you need to grow your practice to a level 5. It's a, you know, if you only want a level 1 or level 2 or level 3 practice, that is fine, but it's really about being informed and knowing what the possibilities are and what the potential is for you in terms of what you want to achieve on your private practice journey. And then once you know where you're at right now and where you want to get to, it really gives you that roadmap of what is the stuff that I need to work on in my practice on a daily basis, what needs to be my 90-day goals, my 12-month goals, so that I can make sure that I'm going to be on track to getting to whatever level I want to get to, and that might be the level 5 ultimate private practice. All right. Let me just Just looking at the question sections, nobody has put in any questions as yet. That's fine, but I always just double check to make sure nobody is saying, Gerda, we've lost audio or we've lost vision. All right, now tell me, who remembers this from uni? Erickson's stages of psychosocial development. Now, I didn't study in Australia, but when I went through my clinical masters, this was drilled into us as part of our child psychology course. Okay, Erickson's stages of psychosocial development. And when I look at the 5 levels of private practice development, for me, because I'm always first and foremost a clin psych, I look at it very similar as to Erickson's stages. So Erickson says that at each developmental stage, you know, whether it is trust versus mistrust in those first, 0 to 2 years or whatever, he says that you need to successfully negotiate through that developmental crisis before you move on to the next stage. And if you don't, it's going to come back to bite you. So if you do not develop trust in the world around you when you have your first intimate relationship in your when you're late teens or early adulthood, you're going to have trust problems. And the same holds true for the levels of private practice development. You need to be able to tick off all the markers, let's say as a level 1 practice, before you can move to level 2. And then you need to successfully, navigate all the markers that you need to do on level 2 before you move to level 3. I can't tell you how many people I've dealt with, and I experienced this myself, and that is the consequences of growing too fast because you did not successfully negotiate through what your developmental crisis was, so to speak, in your private practice. It's really important that when you go through the levels, you don't try and be greedy and skip through stages, but you go through one at a time, because that is what is going to ensure sustained long-term success in your private practice. All right, so let's have a look then at exactly what is, or what are, don't know what the grammar is, these levels. So level 1, and what you might want to do as we go through this is really think for yourself, which of these levels best describe my practice right now, and which of these levels really describe the practice that I want one day. And again, there's no right or wrong here. It's really what you want. So level 1, that is the startup practice. So this is where you are in solo private practice. You're seeing 4 to 5 clients per day. Now, of course, unless you started marketing yourself in your practice 6 months out from day 1 of operating, you won't be having 4 to 5 clients in your practice, because marketing takes time. So we are assuming that you've been in private practice at least 6 months. You're in solo private practice, 4 to 5 clients per day, and when I say per day, I'm talking about a 5-day working week. You need to receive 20 new client referrals sent to you every month to keep you busy. And this practice can turn over up to 130K per year. All right. So just briefly, how do I get to that number of 130K? That is based on an average session fee of $120. So if your average session fee is higher than that, so yours is 150, 160, 180, then that amount has to be way higher as well. I use 120 because I know there's also bulk billing practices out there. There's other type of allied health professionals that don't charge the same as psychologists. So this is really a general allied health number. And of course, the higher your average session fee is, the higher this amount should be. It is based on 4 to 5 clients a week, over 5 days a week, and it takes into consideration a productive working year consisting of 44 weeks. Okay, you will not be working more than 44 weeks a year, because you need to take at least 4 weeks holidays. You've got 2 weeks of public holidays. That makes it all up. You need a week for professional development and at least a week for sick leave. All right, awesome. So that is level 1. Level 2. I hope I didn't go through all of that too quickly. I do know I talk fast. So level 2 is the step up practice. Don't you like my titles that I gave them? I felt so creative. Those just straightforward. The step up practice. So here you've got 1 to 2 clinicians that has now come on board and joined you. You know, you might decide to take them on as subcontractors, which is something that I do, or you might want to employ them. This practice, there has to be 8 to 12 clients coming through your practice doors every day. And this practice needs 15 to 30 new clients referred to them every month to keep you and your team busy. This practice can also turn over between 200 and 300K per year. All right, now you will see that that is a large range, 200 to 300, that's 100,000K range. Why? Because these clinicians, the 1 or 2 people that has joined you and is now part of your team, as we know, based on the nature of private practice, that clinician might work for you 1 day a week and then later 2 days a week, and then stop there. And the other person might come on board for 4 days a week. So the more days, of course, they work for you, the higher your turnover is going to be. Also be very mindful that these amounts refer to turnover. This does not refer to profit in your pocket. That's a different story. Alrighty. Now, level 3 is the expanding practice. So you've started, you've stepped it up, and now you are expanding. So here you have around 4 clinicians working for you at your practice. Between the 4 team members, 12 to 20 clients are coming through the practice doors every day. And you need 25 to 55 new clients referred to you every month to keep you and your clients and your team, sorry, and our clients, you and your team or clinicians, that's the word I wanted to say, busy. All right, and this practice can turn over between 300 and 500K a year. Again, you can see it's a huge range. Again, that is because your team will be working different amounts of days for you, and that will impact the turnover that you can generate. All right, next we have level 4. So level 4 is what I call the demanding, aka successful private practice. Why do I call it this? Because I have been there. And when I was at level 4, everybody that was looking from the outside into what I was doing, how my team was running, everybody thought, you know, you've made it. Everything is just great and awesome. You're so awesome in terms of what you're doing. But me, I'm really struggling. Okay, my practice was very demanding. I was working really hard, long hours, feeling very, very isolated and really struggling with cash flow, struggling to pay the bills, struggling to make sure you've got enough clients. And that was part of my process that I went through before my practice basically, you know, fell down. I had to rebuild it again. And this all happened in 2012, more or less. That's 5 years ago now. And obviously I've got things sorted. But I think this happens a lot because as practice owners, you know, we take a lot of responsibility on ourselves. We feel that we're like the captain of the ship, and you need to be strong, and you need to show that strength, you know, towards your team. I took a lot of responsibility and the risk on myself. I always said that I'm the one that needs to worry about this stuff. I do not share it with the team because it's not their job to worry. It's their job to do their job, to see clients or the booking clients. So I never shared with other people, which is part of why I'm doing private practice success. It's part of why, you know, I'm getting out there and sharing my story, my knowledge, my experience. It's why I've got the Facebook groups, because that was probably the hardest thing for me, being so isolated in private practice, especially when I was at this level, and it just seemed that didn't matter what I did, you know, I was just going around in circles. So I guess I'm also saying just because people look from the outside practices that they're doing really great doesn't mean they are. If they do not have all the right systems and processes in place, if they did not successfully negotiate, you know, the developmental crisis in inverted commas, to relate that back to Ericsson. If they did not tick off all the markers of level 1 before they move to level 2, and or ticked off all the markers from 2 before they go to 3, and so forth, this is going to be probably the stage that's going to trip you up, and you're going to fall over and you're going to have to start all over again, which is why I'm so adamant that you need to get everything in place as you grow for long-term success, because there's nothing worse than feeling amazingly successful and then having to reach rock bottom and start all over again. I've been there, done that. Do not recommend it. All right, so I've gone off on a bit of a tangent there, and our 20 minutes is finished, but that's what I do. All right, level 4, you've got 6 to 8 clinicians, team members. By now, you will have 1.5 full-time equivalent admin staff to help you run this practice. You need 20 to 30 clients coming through the practice doors every day, and 50 to 70 new client referrals need to be sent your way every month to keep your team busy. And this practice can turn over between 500 and 750K per year. Sounds good? Yep, all sounds good except the demanding part. But let's have a look at my favorite level, which is level 5, and this is the ultimate private practice. So here you've got more than 8 clinicians at your practice. By now you have around about 2.5 full-time equivalent staff. These guys are probably full-time reception, casual reception, maybe somebody doing your books, that type of thing. Here, more than 30 clients are coming through your practice doors every day. You need more than 70 new clients referred to you every month to keep you and your team busy. And this is the practice that can turn over more than $750,000 per year. All right, this is also the practice that if you have set it up properly from the start, and you have your team involved in doing marketing, and you've really created that team culture, that you as a practice owner can step back and you do not have to do clinical work unless you want to. Okay, for me, it's all about having the choice. It's about having the choice of, you know, do I want to still see clients or don't I? Maybe I want to do my PhD, or maybe I want to, you know, start a charity in my spare time, start an NGO whilst my team is, you know, earning the turnover and seeing the clients and still doing the work I'm passionate about. Because very often it is only when you get to this stage that it allows you to do that extra stuff that you really want to do, like giving back to charities, you know, maybe doing online courses or stuff like that. And for me, getting to a level 5 practice has allowed me to do this private practice success work, which is very close to my heart. Yes, if I wanted to, I can go sit on a beach every day, maybe not today, training, and do nothing, but I would be bored out of my head. Okay, I'm not ready to retire. I'm probably one of those people that will never retire, but it's about having the choice. And that is what I love about a level 5 practice. All right, so questions. I have spoken so much, nobody's given me any questions. Everybody's just been attentively listening, I'm assuming. Okay. All righty, any questions, guys? We've got a lot of people on here, more people that's joined us. Any questions? Where's the chat box? Okay, am I to assume that I explained it really well? Am I to assume that you either just in shock about potentially what you can achieve? Hang on. Daniel, you're going to help me out with a question. Daniel says, stages of growth. Is it required to meet all characteristics before considering progression complete? So Daniel, I would say at least 80% of the markers has to be achieved, you know, because there's certain markers like, you know, because of course I've only shared with you guys like 3 or 4 or 5 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 to 5 markers. So there's actually 15 markers for every stage. So let's say a marker like, you know, do you have a company car or a car in your business? If you make that choice not to have that, that's not an essential marker for progressing to the next stage. So that one you don't have to meet, but there's certain essential ones like, you know, the number of clients, number of rooms, the number of days consulting by the practice owner, number of hours spent on business management, all of that type of stuff. So I would say, Daniel, if you meet 80%, then you can start moving. Simon says, there are so many steps regarding the foundation of developing a private practice from level 3 to 5. Read your book. Hard to know what is most important based on what areas needs the most attention. So what you want to do, read your book, how hard to know what is most important based. What I can tell you, what you want to do, first of all, is if you look at that table, get out a highlighter. I'm all for writing in books, actually, just so you know. Get a highlighter and mark exactly where you're at on the markers. And then you need to look, okay, based on where the highlighted markers are, which level am I predominantly? Maybe I'm predominantly at level 3, but I've got markers all over the place. And this is very common for practice owners. Like they'll have some markers in level 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 even. So you need to go, which is like the average. So that's the one that I want to consolidate on. And then you look at what's the lower markers that I need to work on in order to get everything, or at least 80%, as I told Daniel, to level 3. And that is where the roadmap comes in, because that will tell you what do I need to work on to get to level 3. The answer a lot of the times lies in marketing. Okay, more clients equals more money, which allows you to grow. You know, without sales, any business mentor or coach will tell you sales is the oxygen of any business. And for us, that means having clients coming through the doors, which we achieve through marketing and good clinical work, of course. Hope that answers that for you, Simon. Kim says, it seems that if you don't want such a huge business, it's always going to be a struggle. I'm not sure what I would say is struggle. It's just going to have to mean that you will always be responsible for doing the work in your practice, that you, because you're only going to get paid when you are actually physically working. And that also means that you need to be good with your money management in terms of putting money aside for your super, putting money aside so that when you do go on holidays or you're on sick leave for yourself or your family, like kids like I've got, that there's money still coming in, or not coming in, but that it is in your, you know, your holiday account, so that you still have money to live on. So you just need to be really good at that side of money management. Simon says, I'm guessing it takes an in-depth review to see what exactly should change and what is okay. Yes, Simon. So what we do when people sign up for the masterclass, as you might know from attending that workshop, is I send you out a very in-depth questionnaire that you complete. You send it back to me, and then I complete it for you, the levels, and then we work on what needs to happen in your practice. So yes, you know, you can have this general overview that's going to give you a good idea, but as with everything, there's always a deeper level that you need to look at. Joan says, not so much a question, but a comment. I'm looking to grow from level 1 and finding the marketing is the most challenging. I'm going to your next Brisbane workshop though, so hopefully I'll learn that. I also really need to learn better tracking processes to know my numbers, which means spending some quality time with Powered Diary. Well said, Joe. Yes, Joan, and I look forward to seeing you in Brisbane. The Brisbane workshop, I think, is in July. Yes, Tuesday the 25th of July, I'll be meeting you in Brisbane. And yes, we do look at marketing on that day. We look at all 7 secrets. Marketing is secret 1. We also look at marketing to your practice angels, which is secret 2. And we will also look at knowing your numbers, which is secret 4. Alrighty, thank you so much, guys, for those questions. We've got 1 minute left. So what we'll quickly do is tell you what's brewing in the Private Practice Success Coffee Shop. As Joan has just mentioned, she's coming to my one-day workshop. So for those that haven't attended any Private Practice Success one-day in-person workshops, please know that the final round for 2017 is now open for enrollment. Please make sure you get there, because if you miss this round, you need to wait at least another 6 to 7 months before I start running them again late February next year. So you just go to www.private-practice-success.com and you can get all the details there. And I'll be going to Brisbane, then it's Sydney, then it's Melbourne, and then it's Perth. Please take note though, because I do know that we also have our How to Start a Private Practice guys that is listening to the PPS Coffee Chats. This specific workshop is only for you if you've been in private practice for at least 6 months or more. Okay, and of course, you only come if you want to smash through that income glass ceiling in your practice, and ideally you want to be able to work less clinical hours but earn the same or even more. And as I said, you really want to have more choice, flexibility and freedom in your private practice, and that's what this workshop is all about. So as usual, I'm going to leave you guys with my parting words for today. And today it says, be brave, say yes. So you guys know I always say, all you need to do is say yes to getting your ultimate level 5 private practice. But today we're saying, be brave, say yes, your dreams can hear you. And so it can. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Please, as always, feel free to continue talking about this topic in the Facebook group. Use the hashtag #chat5, then we know what topic we're talking about. And please go to your diaries right now and make sure that you've marked out Monday the 5th of June at 9 a.m. for 30 minutes, where we will be doing our June PPS coffee chat. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful day, an awesome week, and an awesome month, and I'll speak to you all in the Facebook groups. Bye for now.